I just did it again. Ah! Hey there, Mission Control. Well, as you can see, we're starting to mount the grow walls to the wall. Grow boxes, probably be a better way to say it. We already found some problems and some modifications that need to be made here. So first problem is just manufacturing. There are two sets, there's three sets of grow boxes here that came off the printer. The black ones, there's a second set of white and a first set of white, and the settings between them actually changed. And what we have is a little bit of extra ooze on the bottom here. This one's just an ugly looking one. And that's preventing the nice slide of the grow wall mounts too. Now we also have two problems here. The grow wall mounts, there's the first set, which were wrong because they don't have the, you can see here where these are offset. This is the new set, this is the old set, where the offsets are here. So we had to reprint these. These are the new ones, and they're not fitting, but the old ones actually fit quite a bit better, and they actually fit in the first batch of the white ones that were printed, and this is the second batch. So we have some manufacturing variability, so I think I'm going to increase my tolerances on these slides. I also have noticed that these slides are fairly weak. Now that is a result of 3D printing, and when we do injection molding it may not be that way, but these tend to break off. I've already broken a few off. Where to go? Here's one where I snapped both of them off because it didn't fit right and is really, really tight. So then they snap off. So you can see this one's on there really good. That's just too tight for what it should be. It's supposed to come off easy. It goes on pretty easy, but it's coming off hard. So I do like how they're mounting. And I think an interlock, I think something that actually guides how they fit together would be good to ensure that you keep everything nice and level and straight. So what I've done is I've started cutting, these are just too long, they don't need to be that long, so I'm cutting them down so they're just 1-inch stubs. But what I'm having to do is I'm having to take a little grinder and get in there and grind these out. And then also do some sanding on these. So it's taken me quite a while, but you can see we got the top three in. They're nice and strong. You know, here we go. Let's give it a test here. Yeah. Yeah.
Looks fabulous, honey.
Oh, and Mrs. Martian says yay. I think it's lunchtime. last one and it did that. Oh man. See if it'll still work with just 2. All right, well, obviously I just got the last of 9 of the brackets up. And notice this is one of the original ones that we did that still had the holes in it. That actually wasted material. This is less material than that, believe it or not. A few things that we learned so far that have to be changed. One, these knobs are definitely really sensitive. I'd rather go with a round, thicker knob to protrude to make it easier on and off as well. Manufacturing differences aside, other things, we need to put directionality onto these because the hose gaps actually run, they go a certain way, and I actually had a few of them rotated, so I had to straighten those out. So we need to do a little pokey-okey on there and make sure that we know which direction they're going. And that's where I think an interface where, like, if I wanted to demonstrate, here we go. If we had, these are 2 different ones here, but just for demonstration, let's say there's a little knob that poked out here and there was a receiver here. Well, they can only go in one way, right? And something simple like that would make it easier to install. You definitely, I mean, you have to install all these first, no doubt about that, because you got to get your drill in there. You can get away with just having 2 screws in, which is what I've done, especially if you're not, if they're not as tight as what we have going on here right now. So yeah, the next thing is actually to start plumbing. And here I already see some challenges. I'm sure many of you could see it as well. It actually goes down here, I think. The bad thing is they're all kind of fit to each other as well. So if it doesn't fit on one, I should put it on another. I didn't mark them or number them, but getting behind the wall to do the connections is going to be a little bit of a bear. So we are going to have to figure that out somehow, because we got to have the supply line and then the drains all have to be connected to each other. So that is going to be a little tough. That's going to be tough. Let's figure it out, though. That's why we do this. This is operationalizing something when we actually get to this point. It's like, okay, yeah, that was a great idea. We'll have these mount. We'll have the hose go down there. We'll do all those things. I brought them out by 1.5 inches to give space back there. But when you actually put it all together in the real world, you know, you're like, hey, that's a little tight back there. How are we going to string a lot of those? So let us figure that out. No matter what, we just change the design. And that would be a successful test, believe it or not. If this whole thing fails, if it's like, well, it just won't work, well, that's a success, because that tells us, you know, we made it this far, and I only printed 9. I guess I could have done it with maybe 4, but I think 9's a nice number here, so we can actually get some representation of how it's going to be, because I have different faceplates as well that we're going to put on these. You'll see that. But if we made it this far and we are 9 into it, and we'll do a redesign if that's what it takes. I don't think I need this anymore. I think we're down to plumbing. Plumbing time. It's plum time with a plum. So you can see this was designed to use 1/2 inch irrigation hose, commercial off the shelf. I got one hole poked here. So I think no one's ever installed one of these before, so we're figuring this out as we go, folks. Which is part of the development process. Someone's got to figure out how to build it. Those are the manufacturing instructions, and then you got to tell the operator how they're going to use it. Those are technical publications. So we got to figure this all out. So you're seeing it as we do it here, and I think the right way to do it is to pop all the holes when it's faced at you, and then you want to rotate it this way because we don't have space for it to poke out. And then we need to go get our other fittings, which are where? So these are just standard, again, commercial off the shelf. The only thing that you should have to buy from Eden is going to be the actual grill wall. Everything else you can buy from Home Depot, or if you have it already, you could use whatever you have. If you've got a garden. Come on, buddy. There you go. So these are 1/4-inch barbs. And then I think what we want to do is we probably want to, we're going to make sure it fits. Let's do that first. And then we want a little service loop, which so we don't want to get crazy with it. I think that'll be good. Right, we need service loop because we have to be able to extend and come back in. So we want it to be able to loop up into itself here. Give an example. Here we go. There. Oh, why are you doing that? Oh, so you got to go in first. Oh, that's not good. Boy, that's not good at all. We got an interference right here. Wasn't expecting that, so oh boy. If I go to the side there, that's still an interference. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong one. No, we don't have an interference. That would have been a pretty bad one too. Okay, I'm just got to install it on the right one, Jeff. Which means that's totally not on the right one. So we're gonna. Oh man, put the hole in the wrong place. Ah, you guys see what I did? I saw the square right here, and that's where I popped the holes at, but it's offset. The hole needed to be down here. I need a plug. I'll grab a plug. They make plugs for just such an issue. So clearly our instructions need to call out how to do this, or maybe a template. I'm thinking a template or some form of a tool that ensures that you get it right. I just did it again. Those are, okay, that's obviously a human factor issue there. Certainly it's a Jeff issue, and if I'm doing it, you know someone else is gonna do it, and that's gonna make it frustrating, and when people get frustrated, they don't like products, so that's gotta get fixed. Okay, let's do this again. Here, this is where it needs to go. So this is where this hole goes. All right, and I can test that. Coming in here like this. This one's probably gonna leak like a mother. Okay, there we go. That service loop works just right, like it's supposed to. And we get everything on there. And that looks good. Oh, and then we would rotate it. Rotate, there it is. Look at that. And it fits right on there like it's supposed to. Like it's supposed to. All right, so that comes off. So then, okay, I probably should have taken it off the back, which, boy, they're both kind of a bugger-boo. All right, so now what we want to do is we got to cut 9 of those, 8 more. Precision in the matter is not necessary. We could probably reduce some more materials here, but I'm cutting what appears to be about a 6-inch. So one of the things I think we'll probably end up doing is we'll offer kits, pre-numbered kits that have everything all cut, you know, and labeled, so you don't have to go through what we're going through. But for people that, you know, have the technical chops to do this stuff, they can do it themselves. Okay, we're going to do this again. It goes on top, right on top of the bar. These will all go in there. So the good news is that these holes, I really like how they work. They're exactly the right size, so that's good. Score 1 for the designer. I'm not upset with how that's turning out there. I forgot to get 2 more of those. Actually, didn't forget, sorry. when I went to the store to buy these, they had 3 of these things in the little cupboard, but 2 of them are the wrong thing. Ugh, can't win. I've also got to figure out how to do the drain tube, which should be the exact same distance between each one. And I think you got to put it on. That one's going to be tough. All right, so then we're going to do elbow, T, T. Well, I'm not excited about this, but to save the trip into town and to get this done today, we're going to use, these are another type of end here for plugging the end. Let's see if we can make it work in this thing. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, and I'm not sure it's going to work. Should. We'll find out. We will find out. Okay, so now, same thing. Right above the bar. Right above the bar. You might be wondering why this bottom one's black. I think I actually got the black printing filament to print. That's the first print that came off of it. Decided to use it here today. And we'll find out, and if it does work, which, knock on wood, I'm hopeful of, then what it means is that the problem wasn't the filament, or it could have been twofold actually. It could be the filament humidity level, because now we have the dehumidifier in there, but also is that bearing that went out on the extruder. And we have the temporary bearing in there right now, which seems to be working really well. And then I bought new bearings that are coming, and I found out that they actually had a bearing problem that caused exactly the issue we're seeing. So that made me feel pretty good about life. Okay, so now we have those things all put in. Let's see about going up top here. You know, if you're really doing this tight, I think we probably want a faceplate up here, which I think is a great idea. We should probably have a faceplate. That way you can cover up this area. I'm going to leave a little extra. I'm actually going to cut to this height here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm probably going to make mistakes. In fact, I need to buy some more of this hose so that when the mistakes come, I can deal with them. Perfect, huh? All right. So yeah, I think if you had a fairing on that, that would be great. You could also drop it down in there further and be tighter, but I think just having a nice fairing on there would be sufficient. So what does this mean? It means right now we have supply line in, and we want all those going up. So we want them going up, that way they curl around when we put them in there. All right, so we're using, what is this, 1/4 inch, I think? Yeah, 1/4 inch inner diameter tubing here, which goes with these fittings that we have. Just crimp on barbed fittings. Real nice. Okay, and that has to go down through there. I put a lot in that one. Oh, I did it again. That is really, oh, and that one's a little too close there, Raymond. All right, so let's try it though. Let's get the tops on. Never done it before, folks, never done this before. No one's ever done it before because this hasn't existed before. All right, so that's a little tough there. All right, so you gotta put your drain hole in, drain tube in. I think a fairing is now mandatory. I don't see how we do this without a fairing. All right, so now I left extra in there so we could do this part, which is connect. We got to connect the in-between piece. Okay, that goes there. And this, we're going to start getting tight here now, folks. Okay, that's got to get up in there. That's got to go down into there. And I may have given it too much. I think that's trying to tell me something here. Exciting though, huh? It's exciting seeing this come together. Always cool seeing designs turn into reality. It's a little, I think I put too much on that. Yep, there's just too much material on there. So I'm going to shorten. Man, you don't have to worry about that coming off of there. Alright. See if maybe that did enough. I'm sure I broke that piece off though. Alright, I'm going to figure this out off camera here. Alright, so I just got it on. I had to pull the top one off a little bit, which makes me think maybe you should install from the bottom up. We'll find out here. But one of the secrets is you got to take that supply line and loop it up and come back down so that it doesn't get pinched. So we got to remember to do that. It's a bugger though. There's no doubt it's a bugger. So we got to keep track of how much we cut off here. So now we've got one more to put in on the bottom here. This piece has to come off. And we're going to bring the drain out. And we'll probably just bring the drain over. But we got to cut off, what is it? About that much. How much is that? Middle finger. A middle finger's worth here. Oh, extra there, I think. Kind of shorted myself on that one now. But it seems like maybe going from the bottom is the way to install this bad boy. Boy, having too much of that tube creates a bind, but too little of it and you can't get it on. I think a little bit of spacing in between each of these as well might be better. But by little, I mean maybe 1/4 inch max. And what we're going to do is we're going to run all these down and we're going to connect all these tubes and run that back to the fish tank. Well, let's try it from the bottom.